Hello and welcome to Biotechnica. Please confirm in chat if you can hear me. Good evening to one and all present here. Welcome to Biotechnica's yet another very powerful webinar and training session on CSIR NET exam. Hello and welcome to Biotechnica. Please confirm in chat if you can hear me. Good evening to one and all present here. Welcome to Biotechnica's yet another very powerful webinar and training session on CSIR NET exam question selection training. I hope all of you are doing well in this lockdown. Right? Okay. So before we get started, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for joining in this evening for this very, very important session. And I promise to you that you're going to learn something new and you'll start looking at CSIR NET from a totally different perspective. Right. So it's like, what do we say about perspective is like when you are on Earth, you cannot say the Earth is round. But when you go to Moon and use a telescope and see, you'll actually see the Earth is round, right? The same way, today we are going to change the way you look at this exam. Today we are going to help you understand the dynamics of this exam better. And definitely this particular training session will help you gain a better rank for CSIR NET. If you are targeting a JRF or a LS, one thing I am confident about is at least one person among you is going to get into top 100 just because they're going to attend this session till the end. So before I actually get started, I have a couple of questions for you. So quickly, can you tell me in chat, where are you from, like which city and what's your qualification? So that quickly we could customize our webinar according to your taste and your, strategy so that we can merge together. Okay, so we have people from all across. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So we have people right from Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, okay, Guwahati, okay, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, okay, fantastic, Lucknow, wonderful city. So we have all the entire India right here in this webinar, in this training session. In fact, this should not be called a webinar. This is actually going to be a training session because we are going to teach you, we're going to train you on decision making. In return, what I expect is, okay, all of you, please stay attentive during the webinar, okay? Take pen and paper, take notes, because this is going to be a life-changing webinar and training session for all of you. So are we ready? If we are ready, then type bring it on, BIO in the comment box. BIO, bring it on. Let's see how many of you are ready. BIO, bring it on. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Now, why exactly we decided to talk about decision making today, and why not regular, important tips, tricks, techniques, books, all those things we have already talked extensively in our previous webinars. But what we found out is even though you have all the right tools, ultimately you're going to perform. Okay, you're going to perform in the exam. If that is where you commit a mistake, everything goes wrong. And that is why I have invited all of you today to discuss decision making. So like you can see on your screen right now, we all have to take decisions in our life, right? At any moment in time, we are taking hundreds and hundreds of decisions, right? Our body, will be taking hundreds and hundreds of decisions every instant, actually. But some of them will be conscious decisions. Now, some of them can be right, okay? Some of them can be right. Some of them can be wrong. Now, we have to face the consequences. We have to face the consequences of the right or wrong decision. If it is a right decision, benefit. If it is a wrong decision, we have to incur loss, or we have to incur some impact of it, right? So that is why that is the importance of right and wrong decisions. But when it comes to CSIR and exam, it is actually a decision making game. Now, why do I say that? Is because now all of you are studying, practicing questions, then going into the exam. Now, in that duration, preparation and exam, there will be a 6 months gap. Like you prepare for 6 months and then you write a 3 hours exam, right? Now, those 3 hours decide what you become next, okay, after the exam, not the 6 months. Okay, 6 months will definitely help you there. But those 3 hours are the decision factor, decisive moments of your life. And those, how many decisive moments we have? We have 180 minutes, right? 3 hours, 60 minutes, 180 minutes, right? Every hour has 60 minutes. So now we have to take 140 decisions per, for in that 180 minutes. No, we have to take actually 580 mini decisions. Okay, because every question has got 4 options, right? Now you have to read the question and then you have to choose any one of these 4, right? Which one looks compelling to you, correct? Now, if that has to happen, then definitely you're going to take decisions. So for every question, you take 4 decisions, right? Out of which 3 will be, okay, don't choose this and choose the last one, or whichever A, B, C, D. Now, if you have 180 minutes and you have to take 580 decisions, imagine the kind of pressure it goes into your brain. And actually that is what you should be preparing for during your preparation time. Like right now, last 1 month of exam, you should be talking about that. But the irony of today's era is you have so many teachers available. I'm happy about it, but everyone is teaching you the concepts. Okay, there is no harm when we teach concepts. Everyone is telling you to go and solve the questions, right? Now, everyone is teaching you concepts. Everyone is teaching you the how many questions you should be solving. Go and solve previous year question papers. Everybody tells, even we have told you so many times what are the important topics. In fact, right now also in chat I can see somebody asking what are the important topics. And of course, this is a seasonal. This is an annual question, that which books I should study from, right? And somebody will say this, somebody will say that. But nobody is talking about this part, right? This is something which is out of the box. And this is something which is very, very decisive. Now imagine yourself as a boat, okay? You are a boat without a motor, without a rotor, without any direction, and you are left in the sea. So you will go in any direction, right? But if you decide in the first 15 minutes of your journey where you want to go, then imagine how fast you can achieve your target and your goal, right? I'm sure everybody's target here is CSIR, net JRF, right? Or LS. Now, whatever is your target, you are going to use these tools, but you have to also plan for those 3 hours, right? Now, nobody tells you about this. Nobody tells you that your teacher is not going to write the exam, okay? This is understood. Never, your teachers will never go and write your exam, right? Not your colleagues, nor your YouTube gurus who are there out there. They will not write exams for you. No friend will write exam for you, right? So, yeah, I know there are a lot of YouTube gurus nowadays giving you a lot of gyan. So now all those people are not going to write the exam. Who is going to write the exam is you, right? You're going to write the exam. So you are supposed to take these 580 decisions, right decisions in these 180 minutes. And then only you can beat your competitor. Tell me, am I right? Then only you can score the highest rank. Correct? Tell me, guys, am I right? Am I telling you the right thing now? Everybody is telling you the books, everybody is telling you the concepts, everybody is telling you the syllabus, everybody is telling you the important books, everybody is telling you everything else, but nobody is telling you that you're going to write the exam, so prepare for that. You're going to take 580 decisions in 180 minutes. Prepare for that, right? Now I'm going to break this up, okay? So stay tuned. But as of now, tell me guys, am I right? Correct? So Today what we're going to do is, we are going to practice decision making for CSIRNet exclusively. CSIRNet Life Sciences, okay? Now, we are going to practice, we are going to study, and we are going to devise a formula. We all are going to together devise a formula for CSIRNet exam, right? Now, generally how we talk, we say that, okay, study these 7 or 10 units. Any question which comes from these 10 units, you should attempt. Wrong. That's a completely wrong statement. The right statement is, do not attempt those questions even though they are from your core areas, if they are difficult questions, okay? And now we are going to teach you how to identify a difficult question, okay? We are going to play a game, a decision game today, right here in this workshop, in this webinar, in this training session, and it will be an eye-opener for all of you, because we are going to train your brain to take the right decision in those fraction of seconds. Now, let's do a fact check. Next, after this slide, there's going to be a reality check. So I want to tell you that I cannot lie to you. I cannot lie to you about anything which we are going to discuss today, because these are going to be eye-openers for you, agreed. But there's a big but, okay? I cannot lie to you. I'm going to tell you a fact here. It is you who is going to write the exam. So we will train you today, but it is you who is to practice all these things in the next 20-30 days whenever CSIRNet exam happens. And bingo, you have to prepare your mind, condition your mind for the exam, right? Now, no matter whoever Dronacharya you have studied from, okay? This I keep telling all my students at Biotechnica also, and in fact all of you, I'm going to tell you this. No matter, with due respect to every teacher from whom you are studying, no matter which Dronacharya you are studying from, it's only you who is going to take those 580 decisions in that 180 minutes, okay? This is the fact. This is the FACT, fact. Tell me guys in chat, tell me, write fact if you agree with me. No matter from whom you study, you're going to write the exam, correct? So it is you who has to be conditioned, who has to be ready for this exam. Is that not a fact? Correct? Now, I'm going to tell you the best part. Now, the best part is CSIRNet exam conducting authority, which is now NTA, earlier it was CSIR HRDG. They don't want you to answer all the 145 questions, okay? They just want you to, okay, just go and, attempt a few questions, like 70 questions or whatever, 75 questions, right? But what they want is 100% accuracy. So actually what they're testing is decision making and accuracy, right? You have to decide which questions you want to solve, and you have to solve in the most accurate way possible. Right? And that is what is the secret of a top ranker, right? So if you want to select the right questions and then you want 100% accuracy, now whatever you prepared in past 6 months, that will guarantee the accuracy. Of course, if you have a conceptual clarity, accuracy will come. But choosing the right question, because what I have seen is, what we all have seen is, CSIRNet exam deliberately out of that, 145, some questions will be tough, easy, not so easy, right? So we are going to talk about that today. Okay? Now, think critically, analytically, smartly, and systematically during this workshop. Okay? Now, this workshop is not for someone who says, I know it all. If you think that you know it all, that's not going to help you, because the moment you say, I know it all, means you close all your sense organs, right? If you close all your sense organs, means you cannot learn. And this particular workshop is all about learning, unlearning, and relearning. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to think critically, you're going to think analytically, you're going to think smartly, and you're going to think systematically. Okay, now let's talk about what exactly you need to be successful. Now you need to choose the right questions, and then you need to be accurate about it, right? This is the formula, okay? So you choose the right questions and then be 100% accurate. But how can you be 100% accurate if you choose the wrong questions, right? The question setters deliberately, Okay, janbooch ke, deliberately they will put in tough questions, some questions which we generally call it as trap questions. Okay, so don't fall into that trap. Now let's do some maths here. Okay, now what is the maths? Question solving versus time. Now how much time exactly do you have in reading the question and deciding whether I should go for it or not? Okay, so what I've done is, you have 180 minutes, just take out 10%, that is 18 minutes in total. You will have just to read the question and decide this particular question you should attempt or not attempt. Okay, now that means you only get 7.5 seconds per question to read it and decide, okay, should I attempt it or not. So what you should be doing now is, you are going to practice decision making in 7.5 seconds. Actually, this is what I wanted to be the title of this webinar: decision making for CSIRNet in 7.5 seconds. Okay, if you can decide by just looking at the question in 7.5 seconds that I should attempt it or not, then only you can proceed. Then only you will get a direction, right? So that is what we are going to learn about. Now let us assume that you will skip part A. Okay, let us assume that you skip part A. Still you will have only 8.64 seconds per question for part B and part C. So whether you skip part A or don't skip, you hardly gain 1 second per question, right? So your choice. Okay, so if I remove part A, how many questions there'll be? There'll be 125 questions, right? So out of 125 questions, you get 180 minutes, 125 questions. So for decision making, I'm assuming that you will spend only 10% of the entire duration, which is 18 minutes. Okay, so out of that, 8.64. Okay, somebody is asking me to elaborate. So see, what I'm telling you is, we get 180 minutes, right? So I'm assuming that I will just take 18 minutes in reading and deciding. Okay, that means the first 18, no, during the course of your reading the question paper, so that is the time you will see, okay, this is the question, okay, I should attempt or not, right? So that's what. So when I divide this 18 minutes by 125, you get 8.64. Okay, so 18 divided by 125. How I got 125? Because the total number of question is 145, but I'm skipping part A. Suppose if I skip part A, still I need to solve 125 questions, means I need to read 125 questions, right? That is where this formula comes from. Okay, so I hope you're clear with the formula. Now, is this not a light bulb moment? You only get 7.5 seconds to 8.64 seconds to read and decide whether you want to attempt this question or you don't want to attempt the question. Now, if you are good enough in decision making, then you choose the right and easy questions. Okay, now nobody is going to give you Nobel Prize for attempting the toughest question of CSIRNet. Not even CSIRNet will acknowledge that, correct? What is the aim? The aim is to solve maximum easy questions. Okay, I'll repeat, maximum easy questions in the shortest possible time, so that you have maximum time left for the difficult questions, right? So is that a light bulb on moment? So please type LB in the comment box. LB, right? If that light bulb went on in your mind, that okay, I have got only 8 seconds to decide, right? Okay, I can see a lot of LB. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Now, today, our expert, Mrs. Urmimala, is going to come live and she's going to help you detect questions. So what she'll do is she'll show the question and give you some tips and tricks how to decide which question is tough, which question is trap question you should not attempt. She's also going to help you analyze questions faster. She's also going to help you decide and deflect yourself from the tough questions. In one of my previous webinars, I told you about the chimpanzee inside your head, right? Which keeps telling you, okay, go for the hard question, go for the such questions. So she'll help you understand the nuances. Okay, this looks like a tough question. Let's leave it. Go to the next. Okay. Now she will also train you on selecting the easy questions. Okay. Now, before I pass on the controls to her, she promised me you are going to give 1 hour of undivided attention. From now, 1 hour. That's all I want. right? After that, there'll be a practice session. Okay, 1 hour of undivided attention I want from you. Can you give that? Yes? Okay, fantastic. Now, take notes. Don't forget to take notes and keep your phones on silent. Even I have kept my phone on silent. You should also keep your phone on silent. Okay. Now, at the end, there'll be, if time permits, okay, if we have time, then we will have a live Q&A session. Okay, we'll have a live question and answer session. We will also be discussing further on Biotechnica Connect group. So for all the people who are attending here, webinar over means the game is over? No. Till the CSIR net exam doesn't happen, it's our responsibility to be in touch with you and keep solving and helping you. So what we'll do is we'll have a special group created, decision making group in Biotechnica Connect. So all of you will be invited there, and please join there so that whatever questions you have which you could not ask during the webinar or we could not answer during the webinar, you can ask those questions there in the group, and we will answer to you. And of course, other members will also help you. Now, also we'll be giving surprise gift for all. Now, this time the surprise gift is going to be different. Okay, so it's not that I'll just send you a link and give you a coupon code. It won't happen this way. This surprise gift is going to be a different and special one. Okay, so promise me that you are going to attend this particular session till the end. Do I have a promise? If you give me a promise, please type in the chat box promise, PROMISE. Correct? So without taking much of your time, okay, I would pass on the controls to Mrs. Urmimala, and after that, I will join you at the end. If time permits, we'll have a live Q&A session where we'll take up the questions from you and we'll answer them. And of course, during the session also in chat, we have 6 experts available who will be answering your questions. So don't worry. Okay, we have all things covered. But the most important thing here is learn the craft and try to excel at it. All the best, and see you at the end. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Shekhar sir, for not only giving me the opportunity today to address such an energetic audience, but also for the noble work that Biotechnica is doing in shaping the career of the country's finest life science field talents. So welcome, students, to my presentation. I hope I'm audible to everyone. The clarity is fine for you, and you're also able to see my slides, I believe, right? So eager to learn. Can I have an ETL from all of you? Okay, great. So what exactly are we going to talk about today? Decision. So decision making is an important game in the CSIR exam. In fact, the exam is just a decision making game. You have to decide a lot of things. Not only your selection of questions, but also how much time you're going to invest on the question, and also many other crucial factors which come into play in that 3 hours of session. So without any further delay, first I want to discuss the CSIR question paper structure for the newbies who have very recently heard about Biotechnica and how the CSIR exam is conducted for the life science field, and in fact in many other fields, for getting into higher degrees, a PhD degree and fellowship and all that. So we have 3 sections in our CSIR question paper. Part A, which consists of 2 marks questions, and you will have 20 questions from part A. Then you have part B, also 2 marks, total 50 questions will be there. Then is part C, which is 4 marks per question, and you will have a total of 75 questions. So overall, you will be getting an option of 145 questions. But do you have to solve all of them? No. So I'll tell you about that detail. And you have 13 units in your syllabus in the life science paper. And if you look at the distribution of the questions, you may ask which unit to prepare from these 13 units. So you should know that more or less the distribution is equal. Now, if you look at June 2019, and December 2019 question paper and unit distribution, what you will notice is that more or less it's equal percentage. Excepting some cases and some units, little bit here and there. But yes, you will find question. So that is what my point is. Doesn't matter which unit you're preparing. Again, preparing all 13 units is not required. You just have to prepare some 8 to 9 units thoroughly. But when I say thoroughly, every fine details should be learned. You cannot choose your subtopics in a particular unit. You have to go through all the concepts, and that too with very basic understanding as well, right? So if you calculate the marks calculation, in part A, as I said, you have 20 questions, but you have an option of attempting only 15 out of those. 15 into 2, you will be getting 30 marks, right? Then part B, attempt 35 questions out of the total 50. 35 into 2, you will get 70 marks. Part A is basically your general aptitude and some basic biology, physics, chemistry, maths questions. Part B is very straightforward, very direct, to the point answer, and lengthwise also they are shorter. Part C is mostly analytical. Some experiments they will give analysis, some graph, some match the following, many statements true or false together. So you have 75 questions in part C, but you only have to solve 25 out of them. So that's a huge option. 25 into 4, you will get total 100 marks, right? So as I said, if we look into the weightage of the units, all units, they have an average of 7 to 9 marks allotted, which the students' distributions will be, under which the students' distributions will vary. So a few subunits have seen little bit more importance across the years, while a couple have shown some neglect also. So showing that thing was the intention for the students to devise their examination preparation strategy. You should know what you're preparing, and you should know how much marks you're fighting for, right? Now, why decision making is important in CSR exam? First thing, negative marking. You cannot go on attempting questions in random. So 25% marks will be deducted for each wrong answer. CSR net exam is a rejection game. So majority of the candidates, they will get rejected, right? Only a handful get selected. So if you need to cross it, then you have to decide on the questions wisely. That is where decision making is important. I'm going to demonstrate today with some live scores as well to make you understand this point even better. Picture is clear what we are going to see? So if you want me to proceed further, can I have a BIO? Bring it on your screens, please. Okay, great. All eager students here, right? So I'd like to ask you a question. How much marks do you want to score? Have you fixed on a marks yet? Or do you even know what was last year's cutoff? Yes. How much marks do you want to score? How much percentage? Now you might wonder why I'm asking you this, right? How can you predict? Well, you have to set a mark. Then only you can go towards it, right? So if you want to get JRF, you have two categories actually in CSR exam, JRF and LS, lecturership. The cutoff will be lesser for lecturership, and JRF means you will be getting fellowship and stipend for pursuing PhD. Once you are admitted to the PhD, then you will be getting stipend, 31,000 for the first 2 years per month without taxes. Most important, right? So 55 to 60%, you will have guaranteed LS in the question paper. So how much was the total marks in the question paper? You had 200, right? Just what I showed you before. So you have 30, 70 and 100. Total 200 marks is there. So out of that, if you want to score 65 to 70%, that means almost you have to keep your marks above 130, right? Now the thing is, I'll tell you 60% is the maximum cutoff that have gone for JRF in life sciences till now. So just to be clear that sometimes they will not make the cutoff 65. So you have to at least aim for 65, right? And 55 to 60, a guaranteed LS. In fact, the LS percentage has even gone down as low as 50 or 50% also, sometimes even a bit lesser than that as well. But again, as I said, to be sure of it, right? So here is a good score, what you can say, right? Total marks obtained is 144. Wow. So I just said 130, you had 144. This are raw marks. And then you have the NTA score. So basically this is a percentile. Percentile score, it is based on the relative performance of all the candidates who appear for the exam. And during the percentile calculation, the scores obtained by candidates in the session, they are converted in a range of 100 to 0. So percentile score basically indicates the percentage of candidates who have secured either equal to or below that particular percentile in the exam. So this means that the topper of each session, they get the same percentile, which is 100 only. So this particular student, she's our student only, 99 percentile, which means that 99 percentile have scored below that particular percentile. That means almost everyone, isn't it? The marks obtained in between the highest and lowest scores are also converted into percentiles. So there is a particular formula for that. We need not go into details of that. And even if you see the breakup in part A, in part B, and in part C, right? So as I asked you, what was last year cutoff? I got only few responses from people, which means that you're not well informed, right? So if you want to pursue something, you have to know everything about it. Let's say you're going to watch a movie. You will find a review of it. You will find what best seats are there, which is the best hall, what time will be perfect for you, what food you're going to buy along with it. You decide so much for just a movie, isn't it? Then when it is such an important thing in your career, why not look into a bit of a review for that as well? So 54.5, that is for the unreserved category. So this year cutoff, the cutoff this year, it has led to a lot of discussions. While there has been an addition of a new category for qualifiers, that is economically weak section. So from this year, you had the online format, right? Computer-based test, CBT format. That is why you can see some differences. So there also has been a comparative increase in the cutoff for the JRF since the past exam. So this comparison has been made over the 2 years. So 2019 December cutoff, these are for different categories. I will consider the unreserved one only, and by the way, these are for JRFs, right? So the December 2019 cutoff is higher if you check for the December 2019 June cutoff. But when compared to the 2018 December, this year's cutoff has reduced considerably for all the categories. Now, why is that so? Why is the cutoff differing every time? So it is based on the paper, how much easy it is. 2019 NET December exam, it was comparatively an easy paper compared to this June 2019. So that could be one of the reasons the cutoff for that session had gone up. Because more students will be clearing if it is an easy exam, right? So you have to bring the cutoff to a higher level. There are only limited number of JRFs which can be selected. So the cutoffs for that section, the paper was comparatively easy. That is why the highest score would automatically go up. And so would be the overall performance. So when the ranks are decided from the top level, there are comparatively lot of number of qualifiers. So the cutoff automatically is increased to balance the qualifiers and also the funding provided. So as the years are progressing, the questions are found to become more analytical and conceptual. So you need to know the concept behind it. Just superficial preparation will not help you clear the exam. It is a recognition. It is a superior exam. So you want that recognition. You have to work for it. Just like that, it won't come to you, right? So there has been an addition of a new category, as I said, and the cutoff for general category was always greater than 50%. But as I said, it has hardly crossed 60% anytime. So have you thought of any strategy for obtaining the cutoff marks? Well, if you have your cutoff marks, if you have decided, as I asked your question before, so if you have thought of your cutoff mark, then you should also have a strategy to get it. How many of you have thought of it, like how much marks you want to get in part A, part B, part C, how many questions you have to attempt for that, how much you have to keep for negative marking. Can I see with a raise of hands, right? I have, or yes, done that. Okay. Very few, right? Comparatively what responses I'm getting. Now I'm getting quite less response because most of you haven't done that. Why not? You need to have a strategy for everything. So though the CSIR net CBT mode has changed the average performance of students, the questions continue to increase in difficulty. And the competition for getting a stable, strong career, it will continue to be stronger than ever. So it is very vital to plan ahead and prepare with a unique strategy that can allow one to qualify irrespective of the slight changes in the cutoffs. Why to be in tension whether I'll clear or not? When exam is over, many of our students immediately they'll message us, they'll mail us, sir, ma'am, can you tell what is the cutoff, what is the estimate, what can be the cutoff? Why do you want to be in that tension? Why not get a stable score so that you are very much sure, you're very much confident that you're going to clear it, and instead you can focus that energy into looking further ahead. Which institute you want to apply for PhD, which institute you want to go for this research, who is conducting what, right? Because you have to appear for the interview. You need preparation for that as well. So this means that if a student would require to target a minimum of 140 marks on an average to be able to secure a certificate after a few negative marking, this is what you need to do. So I'll consider 65% only over here throughout my presentation. That is 130 marks. Get these many answers correct. So just 7 questions. You have to solve 15, I said. But no need. Half of it. 7 questions from part A. You will have 14 marks. 23 questions from part B. You had to attend 35. Not required. Just 23. But don't forget you have a choice of 50. That means half questions you have options. You have to just solve 23, get 46 marks. And you have total 75 questions. Out of that, you have to attend 25. I'm not saying that. Just attend 20 questions. 20 into 4, 80 marks. Done. So total will be 140 marks. I'm still giving you, so these are very less numbers, right? Probably you will only attend the questions which you are sure of after a decent preparation. But still I'm giving -10 negative marking. As you know, it's 1 mark for part C questions and 0.5 for part B and part A questions. So you will have some 9 to 10 questions you can make a mistake. So -10 negative marking I've kept aside for it. Looks like a good strategy, but don't forget you have to do one thing before that. You have to prepare for it, right? You have to study, you have to work for 6 months, very hard work. And then, as I said, you apply these principles, what I'm going to show you next, how to decide on the questions in the actual paper. So what is the importance of decision making in CSIR? Do not attempt questions that you are not sure of. That is a decision. It will look tempting to you. You might want to feel like you can answer the question. But there is a catch. There is a trap. Do not fall in that trap. If you attempt 15 questions from part C and you only attempt the questions you are sure of and you get all of them right, so you will get 60 marks, which is the correct strategy. But if you fell for temptation, like 20 questions you have to solve, then you just increase your chances even though if you're not sure of, and you get only the correct answer for 15 questions. Unfortunately, 5 of them you got it wrong. So although 15 to 4 is 60, but because of that -5, your marks got reduced. So definitely, this is not the right approach. Do not attempt if you're not sure of. What is this? How many of you know? Yes. Can I have a response from the students? Anybody has played this? So this is a very interesting thing, okay? Jenga. It's all about balance. It's all about making decisions, isn't it? So a wrong decision will cost you your qualification. Yes, if you pull out the wrong block over here, the entire set will crumble. And that's what will happen. If you make a wrong decision, whatever marks you have scored, all your preparation, all your energy, effort, everything will go waste. So it's all about the planning, the risk, and the strategy. what risk you are going to take, right? Who will decide for you? You are the decision maker. There are some points to remember if you want to decide. Move on if stuck. It's not a prestige issue. Just because you have started working on the question, how I'm not able to solve it. Do not take it on yourself. Please move on. There are other questions. And do not only take risks when desperately needed. Yes, you are falling short. Maybe you have to take in 1 or 2 questions that might help you get over the cutoff. So there you can take risk if you are at the border age, right? So you don't have to attempt every question from the studied units. You prepared 8 to 9 units. Doesn't mean everything which comes from it you should be attempting. And also set a time frame for your questions. Do not spend more than 5 minutes for a part C question. If it is taking means you should skip it then and there. And for a part B question, like 2 to 3 minutes. That is also too much as I gave you. It should be even less than that. Okay. If it is a direct question, but at least take your time, spend some 2 minutes on that. Okay. And lastly, know when to stop. Control your greed. One more question. No, once you target the qualifying marks, accordingly just keep on skipping the unsure questions to avoid the negative marking, right? So as I said, the decision maker is you. So we have categorized the entire question paper into 3 types of questions. One is easy question. So what is an easy question? Direct, no twist question. Clear interpretation is there, and you will have the most chances of getting it correct if you have a decent preparation. Tempting question. Yeah. So they might have a chance of making a mistake, and that's why it can be ignored. How will you recognize a tempting question? Most options or many options will look easy, or overall distribution of the question. But there will be like 1-2 guesses you have to do, and that's where the risk is involved. Okay. And then there is a trap question, just to make you fall into a trap to get it wrong and have negative marking. So it will look easy, comparatively it will look easy, and may seem to have an obvious answer. And that is why most students will attempt it also. But some catch is there, and it has the most chance of getting it wrong. That means it is a trick question. Let me show you some examples of such questions. Easy question example: release of nutrients, oxidants or electron donors into the environment to stimulate naturally occurring organisms to degrade a contaminant. Environment stimulation, definitely biostimulation. Which of the following microscopic techniques is best suitable to visualize the topology and distribution of transmembrane protein of a cell membrane? How many times you have studied in fluid mosaic model the freeze fracture technique to study the transmembrane part of it, right? You section your membrane, you tear it apart after freeze fracturing. So definitely freeze fracture electron microscopy. You have to identify the questions. So you have to develop the capacity for categorizing the questions in the paper as either easy, tempting, or trap question. Tempting question example: so a recessive inherited disease is expressed only in individuals of blood group, and alleles controlling the disease and blood group are independently inherited. So they just want to know what will be the probability the woman is pregnant for a second time. What is the probability that the second child will also have the disease? The specifications are given here. So they have mentioned the disease also and the blood group, they are independently inherited. So this looks like a tempting question. Yes, you have done your genetics questions. You are very sure of finding the probability. But since it is 2 events over here, you need to consider both events while finding out the probability. So we have to find the chance of having the recessive allele of the disease and also the chance of having the O blood group, and then we have to multiply. There's the catch. Students feel it's easy, but if you're not careful, if you're slightly distracted, you may only consider the blood group probability and you will overlook this independently inherited. That will give you 1/4 option, right? But that is wrong. So correct answer is actually 1/4 into 1/4, that will be 1/16. I'll give you another example. So this is RDT question. You have done some modifications, restriction modifications. What's the catch over here? So most students will forget that here the insert is actually inserted in opposite direction. So that is how this can also be an example of tempting question. Answer is C here, by the way. Okay. And this is probably the best example for tempting question. The word fermentation is used in biochemistry and microbial technology to denote different phenomena. Now, if the fermentation is called as C and the microbial technology is called as T, then which of the statement is true? Can you imagine how much concentration you require for this question? In a hall full of students with that computer screen with your strain on the eyes, do you think you have enough patience to concentrate on this question? Better to avoid it, right? Or if you have ample amount of time, if you have finished the questions early, then maybe you go for it. Such kind of questions try to avoid. I'm not saying do not attempt it. If you fall short of questions to answer to get your qualifying marks, come back again. But initial attempt should be to avoid and skip to the next question, right? Here, your answer is option 4, by the way, because many students are asking me what was the option for the last question. So here my point is not to tell you not to discuss the questions, just to show you some examples, right? Then trap question example 1, bound to confuse you. Have a look. The bacterial membrane, all options look similar. And my dear students, it's our mind. By looking so many options together, we are bound to get confused. And that's why some other factors come. As I said, you need a proper sleep and you need to have your brain awakened. Not just you wake up from your sleep, just grab something and go head off for the exam. That's the wrong approach, right? You have to take your time, get up, meditate, concentrate, have a light, moderate breakfast, and then you should go for your exam. Otherwise, these questions, they will confuse you. But another thing is, this is a trap question, better to avoid, right? So bacterial membrane, the words over here is D-glycerol or L-glycerol, and ester bond and ether bond, right? So first option is correct over here, but more or less the options look very similar, right? Trap example 2, strictly advised not to attempt such questions, right? First of all, here, if anybody knows about the units, unit 1 is biochemistry in CSI syllabus. This particular question covers most of the things in the syllabus from every different units, from amino acid, from carbohydrates, from thermodynamics, from protein function, from nucleic acids, and again from thermodynamics. Why? To simply confuse you, right? And that too, have a look. They want you to give only one wrong statement. That means a combination which has only one wrong statement. Definitely avoid. If you have no other choices, then maybe you can think, but I would suggest not even then, right? So you should also be careful with match the following questions. I'm going to discuss some, and even graph-based questions, okay? Because they may look tempting as well, but you may get it wrong. So you should solve them carefully. Now, how have you been to a supermarket? Yes. What do? Do you pick everything which is kept in the rack? Everything line by line? No, right? You look at a thing, you pick it up, you see the packet labeling, whether it is easy to consume, whether it's cost effective, what is the expiration date, many details you look, right? So yes, we don't have so much time to look in the exam, but that's what you'll have to develop. You'll have to develop that skill, right, to choose the question. A general thing is you can target more match the following graph-based question if they look easy. And as I said, try to avoid any related combination unit questions unless you are very sure of. Even true to false statement combinations, you should be very careful. I'll tell you one example. You do have some techniques for choosing the questions. First of all, learn the art of scanning easy questions. Look at this. Fluorescently tagged protein was used to study protein secretion in yeast. Fluorescence was observed in Golgi secretory vesicle ER. Which of the following will be the best, the sequence in which these will occur? Everybody knows the secretory pathway, isn't it? So definitely it will go through the ER itself, isn't it? After which it will be going to the Golgi, and from the Golgi through the secretory or transport vesicles, it will be sent towards the cell surface by exocytosis, right? So anybody, as I said, you need a decent preparation for this. Otherwise, every question will look a trap question for you, right? Then which of the following statements about cyclic phosphorylation? Anybody who have studied photophosphorylation about the PS1 and all that, they will be knowing about it, isn't it? So questions having opposing statements can also be easy sometimes. That's what I said. Be careful about the true or false. Some are easy, some are trap. Now here you have two similar type of statements. Now obviously both cannot be correct, right? How can ATP also be an allosteric inhibitor of pyruvate kinase and ADP also at the same time? Now here, this is a very easy question. Simple logic. Pyruvate kinase used in glycolysis for energy. So energy, if already it is there, ATP is a form of energy, then definitely you don't require to produce more energy. In that case, it will inhibit the pyruvate kinase. So this is a wrong statement. And if you check the options, you just have to find out one wrong statement because all are correct, right? So A, B, and D. Second is your correct option, right? Guessing can work in some of the questions. Have a look at this. Antibiotic addition, cephalexin, to growing E. coli cells lead to filamentation of the cells followed by lysis. Cell lysis. Obviously, we are talking about peptidoglycan here, right? Filamentation, how else it can happen? So this is the answer. It worked, guessing worked, but you have to apply some logic. But guessing doesn't work in all questions. So here, students will feel that keystone is being more abundant, but that's not correct, right? And here, the students will think that it is actually supported by difference in DNA sequence of the coding region, but it is in the pseudogene that is the correct answer, right? So no need. If you feel you're not quite sure, like you have not studied that part, do not even touch that question because definitely your guessing might go wrong. Okay. A part C question can also be an easy question. Anybody who has studied about the cleavage divisions of the egg in development biology, anybody will know it that the birds, either you will know this or you will know this. Okay, some chance that you would not know flatworm, some chance that you might forget about frog. But birds, it's a characteristic, right? So they have lots of yolk, and definitely the cleavage only happens at one part of it, like a disc. So definitely the bird is meroblastic discoidal. And if you look over here, as I said, insect. So insect Drosophila, everybody knows that they have yolk in the center, because of which the cleavage takes place only on the sides, superficial. So insect will be meroblastic superficial. So with these two combinations, C1 and D2, you have the first option right. You don't have to know the other two. That's the beauty of match the following questions. Here, so anybody again who would have studied the electron transport chain, if not anything else, at least these two they would know. Even if not this, oligomycin, everybody knows it inhibits the F0 components of ATP synthase. And that's it. Okay. So you have the particular option B1 only in one of the options. Don't even have to know the other ones, right? So you have to spot it. You have to be actually like a live scanner, a live eye scanner. You need to put a scanner in your eye, okay, by which you can quickly skim through the question. Skimming means very fast. You just look at the details. You have to develop that practice, right? By doing some more questions. Don't get fooled by the length of the question. Many part C questions, they look very big. Have a look over here, right? So it's not that only part B questions can be easy. Every paper you will find at least 4 to 5 such questions which you can solve just by visual analysis, and it requires no specific knowledge, right? So they have asked for stability, whether helix, sheets or loops. Clearly they have mentioned, first of all, when you see a graph, the important thing is you look at the x-axis and the y-axis. What is the axis that they're denoting? So this is stability, more stability this side. Do you require more information on this? clearly the helix, the loops, and the surface, they have more stability. So obviously they will be less tolerant to the mutations, isn't it? So definitely loops will be more tolerant, then surface will be more tolerant, yes, and helices will be more tolerant, so D is not correct. Core is less tolerant, C is correct. Sheets are more tolerant, B is not correct. Got it? You don't have this option like all three options, that is A, C, and E, but you do have A and C. It's not that they have said which is the combination in which all statements are correct. No, they have picked only A and C. So definitely it is kind of a trap question also, you can say, if you look from that perspective. But yes, it's solvable, isn't it? So combination units, be careful. As I said, you don't have the like, for example, this is a combination of the plant and genetics both. So if you have not studied plant physiology, but you have studied genetics, let me take a guess. No, that is not working. Next is marks meter. Let's look at a live marks meter. Why not to fall into a trap question and how to maximize your marks, right? So I have a speedometer here for you. I have taken, by the way, this is the overall score of 4 students, Sara, Ravi, Aditi, and Mark. Just some names I made up. And here, the part B question, part C question, part A question, they have attempted some marks, right? So if you look at it, Sara and Ravi, they have spent more time on the part B questions, 2 marks questions, right? You will see more 2 marks questions solved over here. On the other hand, Ravi and Mark, they have focused more on the 4 marks questions. So that is why they had more time and concentration, because of which they got most of them right. Now, as you can see here, I have given them, like, I have made it such that they have the same marks at this point of time. Okay. Now, let me show you a question paper as well. So here I have taken June 2019 question paper. So let's scroll the question and see how much it has. Okay, here. The 144 question over here. So this looks like a trap question. So Sara and Ravi falls into the trap and they attempt that question. Okay, because here it's kind of complicated. You have to be very sure of it. So let's say I have -1 and -1 for them. Okay. Aditi gets it right, luckily, and she has 4 marks to it. But Mark is wise, does not spend time on it, and it also saved from negative marking. Instead, he spotted this question number 43. So just have a look. Many of us will know this in real life, right? I mean, some example you would have seen. The myocardial infarction means you will have this creatine kinase. A is 2. And A is 2 means you have just one option over here, isn't it? So that is why Mark attempted question 143 and got 4 marks, right? Now let's look at some more. So here, yeah, this one looks like another example of trap question. So all 3 felt it was easy by looking at a graphical question. They figured out, right? And all of them got it wrong, right? But Mark, he also attempted it. He also picked up being a graph-based question, right? But then, as I said, he had more time left. He could think on it with a calm mind, and so gets it correct. So you see, time management is also a factor, right? Now, scrolling some more, yeah, here again, question 138, right? So being a graph-based question, it seems like a tempting question, but all graph-based questions need not be easy. So here, all 3 made misinterpretations and they get it wrong, right? And Mark saw the question, but then he saw the risk involved in the negative marking. He wasn't completely sure. But then in turn, he identifies this 139 question. Again, some common sense. We know formaldehyde, right? And methanol. So methanol means, yes, it will be having some hydrophobic interactions. And formaldehyde will be it will be spoiling the 3D structure, isn't it? So it will cross-link the amino groups on adjacent molecules. So let's say he gets this correct and he gets 4 marks, right? That's the decision he took. He did not fall for the trap question or the tempting question. If we look at some more, so we have here some graph, match the following questions. So let's look at 131 and let's look at 133, right? So this one and this one. So this looks easy and there is no generalization that being match the following. So if you're unsure of, you don't attempt that question. Okay. But what happened? Sarah felt that she can take risk in both of them. And let's say she had -1 in both. Okay. Ravi was slightly paranoid. So he took risk in only one of them. Okay. Aditi, she identifies these questions to be tempting. And the thing is, she wasn't sure. So she rejected this. Because of which, she could avoid that negative marking. Right. And Mark, on the other hand, he had studied these parts. That's why he was sure. So he got both of them correct. Now, if you will ask me, what if he didn't know that part? Then there are other questions in the paper, right? Now, see, we started from the same marks. But now you see, by the way, this is the lecturership and this is the GRF cutoffs. Now, you see, because of Sarah's indecision, so not rejecting the unsure questions were a huge mistake, because of which she couldn't even clear the lecturership, which she had a chance before all this negative marking, isn't it? And Ravi, so he was somewhat taking risk in only one, as I said, not in all. 4, but he left 1. So at least he could secure the position for lecturership. But he would have taken, if we would have taken right decision of not attempting these also, see, if I remove this, so you can see that at least he has bit chance of getting into GRF if the cutoff is less, isn't it? Aditi, so she rejected most of it, and that is why at least she has now a pretty good chance of qualifying the GRF exam, isn't it? And Mark, he attempted the questions only with confidence, and that is why he had a secure position of GRF. No way like he can miss this, right? As I said, you do have 120 marks, which is the maximum which has gone till now. So what's the conclusion? Taking right decision in the exam can help you score even more than the topper. Okay, that's when you target for a higher rank. You will get a rank. Imagine, you can even get the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Fellowship as well. Find it out if you don't know what it is all about, right? Now, next is importance of time management. It depends on 2 things: accuracy and overall speed. So accuracy implies the score, not only on any particular question. There is no sectional cutoff also. Overall, your score will be considered. If a question is taking too long to answer, then you have to skip it, because you have to look at the speed as well. So only combining these two, you will get your dream rank in the exam. So if you're unable to answer a question in 3 minutes, you skip it no matter what. Take that decision, right? So divide and rule. I'll show you how. You have to make the most of 3 hours of examination and utilize this time wisely. One should give their best efforts as much as possible. So what you can do is, you can start with the part C, as they are most scoring. So should be answered first. Around 90 to 100 minutes you can dedicate for this section. Then you can move on to part B, where you have short and straightforward questions. And in a very short amount of time, like 45 to 50 minutes, if you take 2 to 3 minutes per question, major chunk of the questions will be done in that short time. Then Part A, you can keep some 30 minutes for this. As I said, just some 7 to 10 questions you have to attend, right? So that's not too much. Questions will be tricky. So just 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes in a question paper should be enough to answer at least 7 to 8 questions in 30 minutes. And do not forget to keep a 10 minutes time for revision, just to ensure that you have not missed out any known questions. Okay. So we have the CBT test, computer-based test. NTA conducts it. There are some pros for it. First is your results don't take time now. The evaluation time and the processes, they are expected to be less. Not getting overwhelmed seeing all questions together. A big handbook, a booklet was given to you earlier, right? You have to flip through the pages. You're keeping on flipping through the pages, so many questions. You're not seeing all those questions at a time. You're not getting overwhelmed or not getting scared. Timer is displayed right on the top of the screen. You have the benefit of changing the answer at a later point of time also. No mistakes in OMR, isn't it? If you have already marked the answer, but you have marked the wrong answer, you figure it out later, or by mistake you have marked the wrong option. All this avoided. A very good advantage. Easy to track your progress in exam. I'll tell you how. And no paper wasted. Environment friendly, right? So in the paper-based mode, if a student would make a mistake in marking the OMR, it could not be rectified. But in the online examination, it allows the candidate to revisit the answered questions once again and change their answers. So it also allows the candidate to visualize each question and jump back to the question numbers he wishes to revisit. All in all, it has increased the average performance more than the last year, which could be an answer to why the cutoff has been increased compared to June 2019. So this is what I said. It's very easy to track your progress in the exam. You have this color codes. The question palette, which is displayed on the right side of the screen, it will show the status of each question using one of the following symbols. It's an unmarked thing if you have not visited. Orange if you have not answered the question. Red also. Green means you have done it. Green light. Go ahead. If you have purple will be there if you have not answered the question, but you have marked it for review. And with this one means you have answered, but later you would want to check once again whether you have marked it correctly or not. But then again, this can be confusing for people. So what you need to do? You need to practice, right? So as you can see, this is the format. You have the timer running, as I said, and all this question. So right now the test has just started. So you have all these options, right? And you can see here, you have seen the question, but then you have not answered it. So a red mark. Moving further on to the test, I have just arbitrarily marked this. So 70 I had viewed, but I have not answered. So red color. 71 I viewed, but I was not sure. I marked it for review. 72 I answered. 73 I saw the question, I answered also, but I wanted to check later, right? Question 74, I'm looking at it right now. So rest of the questions I have not seen. So you can see not visited. Very easy, isn't it? And one con I will say, it's difficult to get a full glimpse of the question. So for part C questions, as they are long, see, is the same transcription question which I showed you. The graphical based question, as you can see, so much question is left now, but you have to scroll up and down to see the option. But it's okay. We are humans. We are evolving. We are adapting. So we will adapt to the situation by practicing more and more, isn't it? So yes, I did not want to include this slide. No need to see the negativity, just see the positivity. But still, you should be aware of, that's all. So cons of Nta format, scrolling is a problem. Difficult to match options with the answer. Mouse scroll option is also disabled at some centers, like some technical issues were there. And it's a strain for the eyes, definitely. So yes, you can get some anti-glare glasses, or you look for 1 or 2 minutes like outside the screen. You have to practice, right? We have to adapt. And unit-oriented sequence is removed. So the questions are shuffled from December 2019 onwards. So basically, the stereotype of the question format is broken, right? Now, I have some students, same students, 4 students whom I have talked about before. Sarah, who attempts only the classes, who very dedicatedly attends all classes, takes notes. Ravi, he studies the classes and he does some self-study himself also. After the classes, he will sit with the reference books or some online references papers, and he prepares it by himself. Aditi, she attends classes, does self-study herself, and she revises on a regular basis. In a day also, in a week also. And you have Mark, who studies, self-studies, revises, and along with that, he practices question also in a regular basis. Who do you think has more chance to clear CSIR? Obvious answer, isn't it? So it's all about increasing the probability. Do whatever is required. Leave no stone unturned, right? So what is a good source for practicing questions? Previous year question papers? Yes, definitely. Questions at the back of chapters in standard reference books? That also yes. But what are you not getting with these? A proper evaluation. You don't know where you stand. What will be your performance in the paper? You are missing out on the explanation. First of all, you don't know whether the question is wrong or right. You have to first verify it, right, from the genuine source. Then regularity, on regular basis, whether you're getting fresh set of questions for a continued preparation. And your unit-wise question, you've just studied unit 3, fired up with molecular biology. You want to solve questions right now, but do you have any such source which has only the unit 3 questions? You have to sit, you have to skim through the papers, see where unit 3 questions are there. Difficult, right? So what's the solution? At Biotechnica, for example, we provide weekly tests. Every week you get test. Every month you have a CSI pattern question that is called as monthly quest. You have to attend 75 questions. AIMNet test series and ToughNet question bank is also there. Our team can give you some details on some link based on that you can find out what information about it. You can contact us at phone number or email address and you can know some more about them. The thing is, what is the advantage of this, right? First of all, online platform for practice tests. As I said, you have to adapt. As an intelligent student, you must use the data analysis above to your advantage and understand the nuances, read in between the lines and make yourself accustomed to the cutoff demands and not just rely on your own preparation, but also compete against your classmates in your coaching and give this monthly tests of Biotechnica with utmost devotion. So you're also advised to practice using the AIMNet test series on the Nta platform. I'll show you. And this exam would serve as a reminder to those who take CSI Net lightly that this exam demands utmost devotion and dedication, and you must take the guidance of the best mentors available. So you can practice, you can see the timer is also displayed here, how many questions you have to solve. And it has a similar interface for practice. Just as I showed you, right? Unanswered, answered, marked for review. You have the option here. You have the timer running. You know how many questions are there, isn't it? So not only that, you will get vivid explanations, which will help you understand the concept behind the question as well, right? So we have some horse's mouth to hear from to help you understand how the practice questions or the guidance it had helped them, right?
Thankful to Biotechnica as they've helped me throughout my preparation for CSI Net. I took online portal from Biotechnica in which they provide video lectures for all the 13 units as per the syllabus of CSI Net. All the video lectures are really very informative and detailed. One can go through the video lectures n number of times as a master student has a very busy and hectic schedule. So flashcards for quick revision of the important topics. They also tell us the tips and tricks to crack the question easily. As practicing questions is really very important, they provide us with the AIMNet test series, which not only covers a whole range of questions that one faculty of Biotechnica has really helped me a lot as they were available 24/7 for clearing the doubts. So it was really very helpful and I have secured 13 rank in CSIR Net JRF 2018 December and I also cleared got 108 rank in GATE 2019 Life Sciences and Biotechnica has played a major role in my success story. So I would like to thank whole team of Biotechnica. Thank you very much.
They can, then obviously you also can, right? And that to triple success. NET, GATE and DBT with a single preparation. Now that's what I'll call planning. Agreed or not, students? Tell me. If you feel this is terrific, can I have a WOW, wow, from all of you? That's really a big achievement, isn't it? But what was done before that? Some planning, some strategy, and also a lot of hard work, isn't it? Let's look at one more video.
Hi, I am Gurpreet Kaur. I have qualified CSIR NET with All India rank 7. Before joining Biotechnica, I was totally clueless about how to prepare for this exam. But through wonderful teaching and guidance of Biotechnica teachers, I was able to prepare very well and secure a very good rank. Through monthly and weekly tests of Biotechnica, I was able to track my progress and work on my mistakes. Also, Biotechnica gave us the provision of chat support, which was available 24/7. So whenever I had any doubts in mind while studying at home, I used to chat with my teachers and get my doubts clarified. I have secured rank 7 not only through my hard work and constant support of my family, but also through proper direction given by Biotechnica. I thank my teachers at Biotechnica and the whole Biotechnica team for helping me achieve my goal. Thank you very much.
Right, so who all wants to have a rank like that? Can I have a show of hands, please? Who all wants this coming exam whenever it is? Yes? How many of you? Okay, excellent. Fine, very good. But for that, what you need to do? You have to work hard, right? So mark your calendars. The new batch starts 1st of July 2020. Yes, you can use some guidance. Definitely. Right? So the race has begun where every second counts. And you don't want to be left behind. Right? Practice like you have never won. That should be the performance level. That should be the passion with which you will perform. And play like you have never lost. Right? So no, you're not weak in that subject. It's just that you haven't met the right teacher yet. Many students, they feel very weak, very low, that they are not able to grasp a subject and they are terrified to attempt the CSI question. It is not. You just need the proper guidance. That's all. So with those thoughts, I'd like to conclude my presentation. Thank you everyone for your time and undivided attention. And now I'll hand over the controls back again to the most dynamic, inspirational and motivating speaker and our host, Shekhar sir. Thank you everyone.
All right. So welcome back, everyone. How was the session? I hope you liked it. You got a lot of insights, right? A lot of light bulb moments, right? Even I got to learn a lot of things from Mrs. Urmimala. I would like to thank her for her continued help, and she's really passionate about helping students like you, and which was very much visible in her talk today. So now that you have a lot of insights, what we can do is, okay, so the time is not enough. So what I'll do is we will continue our discussion on Biotechnica Connect. And of course, now is the time for our surprise gifts. Okay. So what I'm going to do is my team will right now ping a link in chat. Click on the link, fill out the feedback form, and you will be redirected to the surprise gift. Okay. And also do not forget to submit the feedback form, because last time some people forgot and then they were asking it later. This surprise gift is active only for the next few hours. Okay. I will email all those who fill the feedback form, right? Now I have 3 gifts in total today to give all of you, okay, which will be there after the feedback form is filled. Now with this, we come to an end of our session, but yes, our relationship with you has not come to an end. Biotechnica is always there for all of you, to support you, nurture you, and help you grow. Because if you study, if you qualify, if you become a researcher, then only we can empower India. Our mission and our vision both work only towards empowering India. And India cannot be empowered unless we empower all of you. So, my dear friends, thanks a lot for joining us for this session. Without taking much of your time, I would urge you all to study properly, practice the ideas which has been given in this workshop today. Okay, ask your questions in Biotechnica Connect. We'll be there 24/7 to answer you. Okay, and yes, do not forget to grab your gifts. Thank you. Good night. Bye bye.